The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Chapter 9. People cheered when we were again brought before the king. My head was spinning. Minutes ago I was going to be hung. Now I was being greeted like a long-lost member of the family. I smiled and tried to play along. As Esmeralda and I stood before the king, the queen of beggars handed him a broken jug. "Drink," he ordered, offering me the jug. I took the jug from him. It was filled with sweet wine. I put the jug to my lips and drank. The men cheered. Then the king took the jug from me and turned to Esmeralda. "Drink," he ordered her. She did, and all the women cheered. The fat woman, who thought me too skinny, dabbed a tear from her eye. "I always cry at weddings," she said with a sniffle. "Now," said the king, "you have both tasted wine from the jug. You must make a promise to me and all the beggars who are part of the court of miracles." I nodded my head, and Esmeralda nodded hers. Turning to me, the king spoke. "Do you, He stopped. He did not know my name. "Pierre Gringoire, sire," I told him. The king continued. "Do you, Pierre Gringoire, promise to take care of Esmeralda?" "I promise," was my answer. "Do you promise to protect her?" "I do." "Do you promise to share your food with her?" asked the king. "I do," I replied. "And to share all that you have with her?" "I do." The king asked Esmeralda the same questions. She answered "I do" to each one. The king lifted the jug above his head, then he smashed it on the ground. "With this broken jug, I declare you married." I felt a tear at my eye. While this was not a legal marriage, it was like a dream come true for me. I had already fallen in love with Esmeralda. The room roared with cheers. We were taken to sit at a large table. Food was brought in and set down in front of us. There were dishes of cooked chicken and warm loaves of bread. There was rich porridge and cheese. There were even apples. Even Jolly the goat was fed at the table. He loved the porridge. Everyone was laughing and dancing. I drank wine until my head spun. That night the beggars of Paris made merry, and I was one of them. Better still, Esmeralda was my wife. Late that night the party ended. Esmeralda, Jolly, and I were taken to a tiny room divided by a thick curtain. "Thank you for saving me," I said to Esmeralda. She smiled. "You tried to save me." "You are wonderful," I told her, then yawned. She laughed. "You shall sleep here." She pointed to a pile of hay in the corner. "It is Jolly's bed, but he will not mind. I will sleep behind the curtain." "Sleep well, Pierre," she told me. "Tomorrow you must learn to become one of us. Tomorrow you will learn to be a beggar." I lay down on the hay and blew out the candle. Then I felt something nudge me. It was Jolly. The goat began to snore. In the darkness, I thought about this strange and wonderful day. That very morning I had woken up in my home. I was a writer. I was also alone in the world. Now I was a beggar. I had no home and slept on a pile of hay, but the most beautiful woman in the world was my wife. I began to fall asleep. Soon the goat and I were both snoring. I don't know what Jolly was dreaming. I only know that I was dreaming of Esmeralda.